How's it going, YouTube? This is Skul, and welcome to my video game pickups from the month of January 2021. Man, it's hard to believe that I've been doing this series as long as I have, but here we are, going into my 4th year of showing off all the awesome stuff that I've gotten. Before we start, you might have noticed I have picked up a lavalier microphone, so hopefully that means that the audio sounds better this time. Hopefully it's recording just fine, but if not, then I could still use the audio from my video camera. But hopefully for all my future live action videos, my lav mic will do the trick. So this is sort of my experimental video. Also, I'm sorry if it seems like I'm rushing or something like that, because this is the 3rd time I've attempted to record this. The first 2 times my camera just didn't record for some reason. I've done everything I can. I waited overnight to see if it's fixed. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Okay, where do I even start? I guess I'll go ahead and start by showing off this game. This is Pokepark 2 Wonders Beyond for the Wii. And this is obviously a Pokemon game, and this is a very special Pokemon game because this was the most recently released Pokemon game that I was missing from my collection. That's right, now that I own this, I own every single Pokemon game, main series and spin-off, that have released since this game. And this came out in 2010 or 2011, so I have every single Pokemon game from the last decade, which is awesome. I think my newest game that I am missing is a Japanese DS game that teaches you how to play the trading card game, and unfortunately it's not cheap, so probably going to be a while before I pick that up. But hey, I got Pokepark 2, and I'm happy with that. I also ended up picking up my first N64 game that I've gotten in quite some time, Castlevania, also known as Castlevania 64. Believe it or not, this is actually my very first Castlevania game. For such a well-known and well-loved series, it's amazing that I haven't gotten a Castlevania game yet until now. And here we go, my very first Castlevania game. And this brings my total N64 games up to 131, which is really, really close to the halfway mark for the North American library, which has 296 games. I'm just about a dozen games away from having the half of all North American N64 games. So I'm super happy to have picked that up. And it was pretty much free because I had racked up so many eBay bucks, and I saw I had some, and I was like, what am I missing? I want an N64 game. Let's just check some and see what's cheap and what I can afford with my eBay bucks, and it was this. So hey, free N64 game that I was missing. I'll definitely take that. I also picked up a ton of Switch games, as you can see here. These 3 are all rather old. These were all released in 2018, specifically the first half of 2018. I'm trying really hard to collect all the North American Switch games that released in the first 6 months of the Switch's 2nd year of release. So, thanks to these 3 that I have picked up, I'm now only missing 13 from that subcategory. And hopefully I'll be able to pick them up a little bit at a time from here until the end of the year. So hopefully by the end of 2021, I can have the first year and a half of the Switch's library complete. Anyway, the 3 that I picked up are Battle Chasers Night War, EA FIFA 19, which, since it's an older FIFA game, it was really cheap, thankfully, and Rumbo, which I can't believe I didn't have yet. This is such a well-known and well-loved indie game, so I'm very happy to have picked that up. And yeah, only missing 13 games now, and actually I'm only missing 12. One of them is on the way, and it'll be in next month's pickups video. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and show this game off. This is the newest release from East Asia Soft. This is Pawa Rumi Definitive Edition. And this is the collector's edition. It comes with the game, it comes with the soundtrack, and I think a few other things. But this is very special to me because every time you get a copy of one of EAS's games, it comes with a certificate of authenticity telling you what number your specific copy of the game is. This doesn't have that. This certificate of authenticity says sample on it. So, as I understand it, this is only available to EAS employees, of which I am one. I stream on their Twitch 3 times a week. If you didn't know that, then now you know. And I guess when they were shipping out copies to their employees, all that they had in the office was the sample copies. So, yeah, There's only about 5 ever made for these games, and they're never released in stores. They're never purchasable. The only way to get a sample copy is to be an employee and have it given to you. Yeah, it's just such a unique little thing for me to add to my Switch collection. As a collector, you always want unique things that is just impossible to get otherwise. So yeah, I'm super, super excited to add this to my collection. I didn't even ask for a sample copy. I would have been happy with a numbered copy, but they sent me a sample copy, and I'm very happy for that. Speaking of limited print games, got a whole pile of stuff from LRG here. These first 3 games I ordered this month, and they all arrived about 2 weeks later. So every year, at the beginning of the year, Limited Run Games hosts a blowout sale on their website where they try and get rid of inventory that they just had a little bit extra of. And luckily for me, they had 3 games that I was missing from the first 50 Switch releases that they did. That's right, thanks to these 3 games, I now have every Switch game they released, numbers 1 through 50. And these 3 games are Ms. Splosion Man, number 47, probably the one that would have been the most expensive for me to get if I had gone to eBay instead of through LRG and paid retail, Blazing Chrome, number 48, and finally, Battle Princess Madeline, which is number 50. And like I said, thanks to these, I now have the first 50 Switch games that LRG released, which I'm super excited about. That's a huge milestone. Hard to believe they're up to almost 100 releases now, and that doesn't even include the unnumbered releases that they did for distribution. Anyway, I also picked up this Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, which actually I ordered last year, but it just now got through production and shipped out. And this is essentially a Switch port of the N64 game, which I played a ton as a kid. I love this game. I still love this game. I plopped the cartridge into the Switch and played it for a few hours when I first got it, and it's so much fun. If you've never played Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, I highly recommend it. I recommend you try it out on the N64, but there's also a PC port you could probably get on GOG. There's of course the Switch port, and you could buy it digitally on the Switch if you don't want to buy it physically. But I'm so happy it got a physical release. I'm super happy to own this. It's a Star Wars game, and it's a game that I just love from my childhood. And you know what? It's aged remarkably well. It's a 20-year-old game now, but it still looks great and plays fine. So yeah, I'm very happy that LRG released that game. These next games were all part of the same package. They were all from LRG. Let me go ahead and show off the Switch game first. This is Grandia HD Collection. So this is a collection of Grandia 1 and 2, which were originally PlayStation 1 games. They've been remastered and re-released on the Switch, and they got a physical release. I've never played Grandia before. They're considered some of the best RPGs of all time, so I'm really looking forward to playing this. Super happy that I have a physical edition that I can play it on. Let's go ahead and show off the PlayStation game next. This is Space Channel 5 VR for the PlayStation 4. And this is a PSVR game. I do not have a PSVR headset, but when I get one, I want to have a library of PSVR games that I can pick from. And you know what? I love Space Channel 5. It's more of an obscure series that people don't really know about, but I love it. It's been a thing since the Dreamcast days, so I'm super happy to have gotten this game. I just sort of threw it in with my order because I had the extra money. The main reason I placed this order in the first place was to get this. This is LRG's very first 3DS release, a TUI collection. And this is a collection of 5 games from the TUI developer. And as I understand it, this sold well enough, and Nintendo is still making cartridges. So LRG wants to make more 3DS games in the future. We'll see if they do. If they don't, then this will be the final 3DS game ever released. As it is right now, it's at least the most recent one. So yeah, very happy to have picked this up. I figure there's not going to be many 3DS releases they'll do, so I may as well, get this one. I don't know if I want to go for a full 3DS collection. That seems a bit ambitious, but you know what? I figure may as well pick this up, right? And I was able to bundle this with Space Channel and Grandia to get the shipping down. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. These last two things are not video games per se, so if you want to stop watching the video right now, I don't blame you, but I really think that you'll like what I am going to show off here. The first one is the Blu-ray for Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, which is the latest Pokemon movie. Can you believe I haven't seen this yet? I still haven't. Since I got this, I've just been too busy to plop it down and watch it. I don't have Netflix, so I was just hoping that it would get a DVD Blu-ray release someday, and lucky for me it did last November, and I don't know, it was just popular or something because it didn't show up until this month from Best Buy. So yeah, from what I understand, this is actually a pretty good movie. I'm looking forward to watching it. I love Pokemon the first movie, and this just screams nostalgia for me, so looking forward to watching that. The other thing I got was definitely not video game related, but it was this. This is a Laserdisc of the work-in-progress version of Beauty and the Beast. So in 1991, when Disney was making the film, they wanted to generate hype for it, but it wasn't done yet. This was about 3 months before it released in theaters, but they wanted to debut it at a film festival. So they took this version of the film, which is only about 75% complete, and showed it at the New York Film Festival. And what they showed was the film, and the 25% that wasn't animated yet was shown off with storyboards and rough sketches and even animation that just wasn't finished yet. This received a 10-minute long standing ovation, and when I found out that Disney released this to the public, but only on Laserdisc, I knew I had to get it. And I got it, and I watched it that night, and oh my goodness, it's a beautiful film. I'm just such a huge fan of Disney, and it's such a rare thing for them to show us behind-the-scenes footage of films, especially films that haven't released yet. So I'm very happy to have picked that up. I'm a Laserdisc collector, so yeah. And if you don't know what a Laserdisc is, it's basically a DVD, but the size of a vinyl record. So yeah. So that about wraps up my video game pickups from January 2021. I want for you to tell me in the comments what your favorite thing was that I picked up this month, and also what your pickups were this month. That's something I want to try this year, is for you guys to tell me in the comments what you got this month as far as video games goes. If I could pick one thing that was my favorite thing that I got, it'd probably be Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I'm super happy to have just gotten a ton of stuff to add to my collection. Yeah, I'm filling out my Switch games slowly, I'm filling out my Pokemon games slowly, I'm filling out my N64 games slowly, so if I had to pick one that I know for sure I'll be playing over and over, it's gonna be Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Just has to be. So that will end the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next month when I show off what I get in the month of February 2021. Until then, see you later. Bye.